My wife ended it tonight. I cried a lot. She didn't at all. Which tells me she's planned this out for a while. My situation is I'm the stay-at-home dad. She's the breadwinner and makes good money. I made mistakes in college and never got a degree. So I ended up being the stay-at-home parent because any money I take it basically could only cover daycare etc. We just bought our first house together 8 months ago. What's going to happen? Am I just out everything? I would literally be homeless if I'm kicked out of the house. She's got retirement funds, a good job, and honestly if the kids got to choose who to live with, they'd pick me. I won't settle for anything less than 50-50 with the kids. But she can argue I'm unemployed or worse if I don't get the house. Do I have any leverage here? Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, just take her to the cleaners like any woman would do to a man lol. Redditor 2, leverage isn't the right word. What you have is standing as a dependent spouse and full-time stay-at-home parent. You are not unemployed, you are the children's caretaker. The retirement funds will be split 50-50 and she will have to pay alimony and child support. You will remain domicilied in your house and may be awarded it. You are in a pretty well-established position. Get a lawyer now. Redditor follow-up. The more men who do this, the sooner women will start helping change the alimony bill shit. Redditor 3, it sounds like you are that rare bird, the man who will get to soak his wife in a divorce. Go see a lawyer and get what you can without remorse, because in 90% of the cases it's the other way around. Op answer, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to wreck her, she's still the mother of my children. And even if I got the house, I don't think I can afford the mortgage payments. At least not right away. Update, how did the little things get us here? I'm a stay-at-home dad to our 3 amazing kids. All girls ages 10, 6 and 2. Wife makes the money. We've been best friends for 25 years almost. Together for 13 and married for 2.5. A week ago she told me she's have an emotional affair with an old flame. She chose me over him 13 years ago. They were never romantic and he was just a friend of her roommates. She saw him maybe 3-4 times total in her entire life. She decided to look him up on Facebook. They started talking and things spiraled out of control from there. She claims her actions were 100% innocent, and she was just checking on an old friend. Turns out he's recently divorced, has 2 kids of his own, and lives 8 hours away or so. Suddenly my wife literally just starts falling for him. He says all the right things, they have this ease of communication, he puts a smile on her face. They have this connection, everything in quotes is her words. She can't explain it and nobody understands. It feels like high school when everyone tells you falling for this person is a bad idea, but instead of actually thinking about their advice, she separates herself from everyone and continues down the path. I don't think she's even talking to her family right now at all because of this. They text her and never get a response now. Now she's ready to throw our marriage away. She says not necessarily for him, but for herself. We had our struggles. The things she would get mad at me about include, not maintaining a perfectly clean house at all times, taking the easy way out a couple times a week with meals for the kids, my affection and communication towards my wife. I tried to make her understand how difficult it is to raise 3 kids alone as a stay-at-home dad. Yes, since she made the money, it's almost like she had old-fashioned views of family life and expected dinner to be ready when she got home, and that she could just relax all evening. I was on child duty 24/7. She didn't understand that most days, I don't have enough time for just all 3 kids. So her, us, and myself were neglected. She shows no remorse for her cheating. She says because it isn't physical it's not that bad. Now she just wants to find herself. She thinks she's lived her whole life for someone else and never done what she wants. She keeps asking herself, what am I? What defines me? I'm more than a mother and a wife. Well, she earned herself a new title that she can never get rid of. Cheater. Since I found everything out, I'm an emotional wreck. Crying multiple times a day. In front of my kids. My oldest was already in therapy for self-harming herself, and I fear greatly the effects this is having on her. My wife comes home from work and disappears to the bedroom to get on her phone. She's not sleeping, she's just constantly in contact with this guy. Based on what she's told me about him, it sounds like he's being manipulative as hell. Myself and her entire family have told her a good guy doesn't mess with someone's wife. Especially when kids are involved. Her response is she got flirty first. But he could have still shut it down. Everyone that knows the situation is in agreement about that except her. It's like she has blinders on but insists it's not infatuation or a crush. By the way, all this has happened in a week. From first contact to where we are now. My wife is cruel to me. I've gone all out trying to save us. She tells me she enjoys my kisses, enjoys hearing me tell her I love her. Tells me she misses me. But then is quick to shut down any hope of us making it. Last night, she catches me browsing this sub, and appears shocked. Like she expected me to just be okay with everything that's gone on last week. Really? Wow. She scoffed and went to bed. Then not even 5 minutes later, invites me to bed to snuggle, and then it led to sex. Which during I told her I loved her 3 different times and she couldn't say it back. She couldn't kiss me. I stopped and said, you won't even say it back, you won't kiss me. She responded with, now you know how it feels. Ouch. I've never ever not said it back to her or refused to kiss her. Yes, 99% of the time she said I love you first in our relationship, but to not hear it back hurt. And then for her to say that. We went to bed. I laid there and cried while holding her. This is where we are now. I've been going from we are going to make it to we don't have a chance multiple times a day for over a week now. I can't take the heartache. I can't take my kids' tears every day. We have therapy scheduled for 8/8, but I can't do this another 2 weeks. I have a consultation scheduled with an attorney in a few days. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, look up the term pick me dance, keep doing this and she'll keep walking all over you. Maybe it's time to pick yourself up, dust yourself off and remember what it's like to have a little self-respect. Do the 180 and grey rock on her and start showing her that there are consequences for betrayal and disrespect. If you keep behaving like that, things are only gonna keep getting worse. Try showing her that just because she earns the money doesn't mean she gets to make the rules. Good luck. Redditor follow-up. Yup, the more he distances from her and prepares for his life without her, the quicker she will turn around. In all honesty though, why would you want her to? Redditor 2, stop doing the pick me. Lay down hard boundaries. 1 being compete, no contact with AP or she moves out now. Don't sleep in the same bed with her currently. Grey rock her until she is seeing straight. Redditor 3, she needs a dose of her future reality. 1. Get a lawyer and have them draw up a legal separation with her moving out of the house and paying child and spousal support. If you can't get her out of the house, hand her the divorce papers. Remind her that you will be getting the house, kids and both child support and alimony. If she still fails to leave, move to another room to sleep. 2. Keep your interactions to yes and no and only about the children. Don't make her dinner, don't wash her clothes, don't do anything directly for her. When she complains, expand your vocabulary to get used to it. 3. Don't do anything to turn the kids against their mother, but don't pretend to be lovey around them either. Just stay cold and emotionless with her and warm and loving with the children. What you are doing now is eroding what little respect she has left for you. She has it in her mind that she'll end up with both of you loving her and taking care of her. You need to force her into the real world. The world where you aren't going to be in her life anymore. The world where she comes home to a home-cooked meal and well taken care of kids. In fact, have a mommy does everything weekend, every other weekend, like she will when the divorce goes through. Go visit friends and family on those weekends. Just leave her a note early Saturday morning saying back Sunday night. Treat her as if you were already divorced and moved on. Whether she's in the house or not. If you want to get her really annoyed, leave her home with the kids and go on dates. Don't sleep with anyone though, don't give her any ammunition in the divorce. The whole idea is to snap her out of her fog. To remind her of what her life will be like without you. How the perfect life she has envisioned is a myth. Don't tell her, show her. Good luck. Story 2. Found out my best friend of 5 years has been sleeping with my ex repeatedly for a year right after we broke up. He's even the one that I consulted when things got tough with her, and he gave me the advice that ended up ruining things with her. Now I'm thinking that advice was intentionally designed to ruin my relationship. Why would he do this? He already has a long-term GF2. And he knows I still have both of my ex and his GF's contact too. I'm really hurt. It's late at night here and I'd how to cope or who to talk to. Any words of advice would be appreciated. Edit, thanks for all the support. I wrote this post and went to sleep. I just wanted someone to talk to and didn't know what to expect. For the people telling me to expose him. I don't think I can. He's one of the few people that know of my lack of religion in a country that punishes this. If he retaliates, he could get me killed. Also TBH, I'm really hurt and I wanna forget about him and this whole situation, so I don't wanna get involved any further. Here's a piece of info I remembered when I woke up today. He used to tell me to not answer his GF's phone calls because when he sometimes goes out to meet some friends and doesn't wanna bring her along, he tells her he's drinking at my house so that she doesn't doubt. I carelessly played along. So in a way, he had me help him betray me and cheat on his GF in one go. Update. Found out he tricked her by creating a fake identity. For context, I dated this girl for 4 months only in 2021, during which he was away and never met her in person, only seen her pictures, not the other way around. She only knew I had a best friend, his name, and that he was away at the moment. I really liked her, so the very day he was available again is when I went over and consulted. The very next day I followed his advice and we never saw each other again. He found her socials, gave her a fake identity, and did what he did. She has no idea it's him. I have just messaged her telling her the whole story, hopefully she sees the message. Redditor's reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, makes me wonder if they were sleeping together even before you guys broke up. Redditor follow-up, that's the one. He wanted her and basically made sure you wouldn't get back together with her. Not a friend. He's a user and snake. Redditor 2. If he's cheating on his GF and you have proof, you should tell her. Redditor 3. Why would he do this? Because it's likely it's been happening for some time. Wouldn't be all that surprising if it overlapped during your relationship together. Either way, he's a acid friend. Do yourself a favor and forward his girlfriend the proof and block his number. Whether it happened while you dated one another doesn't matter, since he would be betraying your trust in either scenario. Story 3. My M28 GFF 27 of 6 years and fiancé of 8 months just cheated on me, but all I can think about is who she did it with. I've been torn about posting this, but as the title describes, my fiancé just cheated on me. My fiancé went on a trip last weekend with a group of her friends to one of their parents' summer houses. I was supposed to go, but something came up last minute and I couldn't. She was supposed to be gone until Sunday, but she came home on Saturday in a state and told me she slept with one of her friends the night before. I was obviously crushed, but nothing compared to how crushed I was when she told me who with. The guy isn't a shoal and I've never liked him, and I just can't wrap my head around the fact she would sleep with him. She was very drunk, but I still can't deal with it. I kind of feel like I almost don't care about the fact that she cheated, but it's just that it was with this guy. If it had been anyone else, I could move past it. Are these feelings normal? Has anyone dealt with something similar? Update. Thanks everyone for their messages and responses. Sorry I haven't responded, but obviously I have a lot going on, and I've also just lost what I consider to be quite a lot of money on crypto, so it's safe to say I'm not having a great week. I just wanted to say a few things and give a bit of an update. Firstly, that her friend group are seemingly mostly on my side and are annoyed at the two of them. I spoke with her best friend and her boyfriend who were there, and they are both angry and disappointed at them. They went to bed before it happened, but they've spoken to people who were still up and they've said that there was nothing obvious going on, and whatever happened when everyone was going to bed. My fiancée said she remembered very little, so going on what I know now, I suppose I need to consider that she might have been taken advantage of. A lot of people commented saying that she probably wanted him and just took the opportunity as it came, but I don't believe that. If she wanted to get with this guy, she has had countless opportunities to do so. Why now? That's why I've been struggling to wrap my head around it. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, she's been staying with her parents since Sunday, and I haven't really spoken to her other than to say meet her this weekend. I'm going to ask her about being taken advantage of and see what her reaction is. If she says that she wasn't, then I guess we're done, but if she really can't remember what happened, we'll have to take it from there. What do you guys think? Redditor's reactions. Story 4 after. Redditor 1. The problem is, this guy is part of her friend group. So what's the likely scenario moving forward? That all of her friends who were there when she ducked him shun him from the group. Can you trust her friends after this? Does she distance herself from the group if he's still around? How often will she bump into him in everyday life? There is no easy path forward. And don't kid yourself. You haven't even begun to unpack the emotional trauma you've just suffered. If you marry her, do you think you're ready to spend literally the rest of your life fighting off the demons of insecurity, resentment, mental images, feelings of inadequacy, and broken trust? I follow another poster on her who is 5+ years out from D-Day, and he's still fighting those demons. Another poster on here spent 3 years trying to reconcile with an extremely remorseful wife who did all the right things, but he ultimately couldn't do it anymore and is currently divorcing her. I couldn't do it. You're young, mate. Find you someone who can give you a clean slate. Her slate will never be clean. Redditor follow-up. fighting off demons of insecurity, resentment, mental images, feelings of inadequacy, and broken trust. This just hit me hard. Redditor 2, I'm a throw up if you stay with her FR. Redditor 3, that's your brain trying to soften the blow of being betrayed. I've been cheated on a lot, and I can tell you, friend, stranger, or enemy, it all hurts the same, but you try to do these things that take the focus off of the direct betrayal. It's not that she cheated so much as that guy sucks, but it is that she cheated. Redditor follow-up, just came here to say I'm sorry you went through that, stranger. I can't even imagine. I hope things are looking up for you, truly. Story 4, all 3 of my nieces and nephews from my brother are actually my children, and it's the only thing keeping his marriage together. My title is pretty much what this whole situation boils down to. However, I need give the context for this whole thing. Back over 13 years ago, my older brother married his wife. The two of them were high school sweethearts and got married after he graduated college. They immediately wanted kids. But after almost 2 years of trying, they realized something. After that, it was revealed that my brother suffered from an extremely rare genetic defect that left him almost entirely infertile. According to the doctors, there was less than a 1% chance of him ever fathering offspring. I come a very tight-knit family. Even today, almost all of my extended family live in the same town and see each other on a monthly basis. Because of this, we all heard this news almost immediately. All of my siblings who had married at this point already had kids, and a big part of my family's religious views were based on children, so the pressure was already pretty heavy on them when the news hit. My brother and his wife did not take this news well. Over the next year, the two of them tried their hardest to have that 1% baby. They sunk over $50,000 into fertility treatments and over medical shams that never resulted in anything. Their marriage was falling apart by the day, and it soon became clear that the both of them only ever did this to have kids. This is where I come in. It was almost a year after he had received the news that I caught my sister-in-law crying alone at a family event. I sat and talked with her for over an hour about this whole nightmare. At the time, I was just getting over my fiancé cheating on me, so we both had a lot to say about marriage. From this, we started talking to each other a lot. And one thing led to another, and we started having sex. I was a young stupid college kid at the time, and she was desperate for anything, so neither of us used protection, and she got pregnant. My sister-in-law decided to tell him about her pregnancy while eliminating the fact of me and her, and he was ecstatic. It was as if overnight their marriage repaired itself and the two of them were as happy as ever. And 9 months later, they were blessed with not 1 but 2 sons. My whole family called them miracle children, and that my brother and his wife were blessed. Me and my sister-in-law made an agreement to never tell a soul and take this with us to our graves. My brother was the happiest he had been in years, and they both finally were happy. They had finally had the children they both wanted, and would be content. Even when I moved away, she still wanted nothing more than to keep the lie going. 3 years later, I met back up with my sister-in-law behind my brother's back again. The reasons were less malicious than before initially. I had moved away for a job and came back to see my family one Christmas. Me and her started talking and decided to meet for coffee. One thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping with each other multiple times during this visit. She got pregnant once again and somehow convinced my brother it was his. 9 months later, and their daughter was born. I know for a fact that the both of them live for this lie. One of the last real conversations I had with my brother was how his marriage was a joke, and he only lived for his kids. My sister-in-law shares the same sentiment. And I know that she would end her life if not for it. I cut my family out of my life recently, and honestly, this is one of the reasons. Where I came from, family and kids were all that mattered. Ironically, in the end I was the black sheep for never marrying and having kids. For me this is a way of trying to let go and move on. But I never will. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, yeah, there's no way this isn't eventually getting found out, likely in the middle of a fight between your brother and Sil. Oh yeah. Well, you know those miracle kids. They're not even yours. They're your brother's, you sterile piece of shit. Live your life, but be prepared for that 3 a.m. phone call. Redditor follow-up. It's important to have something really juicy to whisper on people's deathbeds. Redditor 2, pretty sure the Sil knew what she was doing all along. Redditor follow-up, agree. She wanted kids and wanted them to look like her husband. Up, fit the bill. Redditor 3, we decided to never tell a soul and take it to our graves. Also you, hey Reddit, guess what I did?